Our 12 days of road trip through the Deccan led us to discover many hidden places and learn a lot about the history of South India and its rich heritage.
কোথায় বাচ্চা?
এই যে
ও হ্যাঁ,
কোলে বাচ্চা,
হাজবেন্ড ওয়াইফ আর কি।
বাচ্চা এরকম অনেকগুলো আছে। ওইটা In our last video, we visited the Pattadakal group of temples, which are the gorgeous remnants of one of the most powerful dynasties of South India, the Badami Chalukyas. Located at a distance of 13 kilometers from Pattadakal is Aihole, another historical site from the time of the Badami Chalukyas. It took us around 20 minutes to reach Aihole from Pattadakal. After collecting our tickets from the main gate, we headed first towards the Durga temple, which stands inside a carefully manicured lawn and garden. There are multiple temples within the Aihole temple complex, but the Durga temple among these is the most interesting. Though it is called Durga temple, this temple is mainly dedicated to Aditya or Surya, the sun god. Durga here actually means Durg or fort, as the temple once had the look of a fortified building. This temple has been dated by historians to be built around the 6th century. It was built during the reign of the Chalukya king Vikramaditya II. The base of the temple has 6 different layers of moldings. The uniqueness of this temple is its elliptical shaped plinth or platform upon which stands the gallery displaying some of the best carvings and art of the Chalukya empire. As you walk alongside the outer walls of the temple through the elliptical path, you just cannot help admiring the rich carvings which convey the stories of the past to the modern generation. The temple can be entered through 2 flights of steps, one to the south and the other to the north, leading up to the main mandap. The main mandap of the temple faces towards the east. The interior of the mandap is like a gallery filled with fascinating carvings. The walk along the elliptical gallery through the pillared corridor can amaze anyone. There are life-sized statues of different Hindu deities. Equally gorgeous are the huge pillars at the periphery alongside the circumambulatory path. Here we can see a fascinating carving of goddess Durga as Mahishashur-Mardini trampling the demon in buffalo disguise, holding her weapon with the lion standing next to her. The next one was a majestic carving of Varaha, an avatar of Lord Vishnu. Anyone with an eye for art can realize how beautifully it has been made. We can also find the coiled serpent near the feet of Varaha. The pillars on either side of the idol are heavily carved. At the base are also beautiful designs. Here we can see Narasimha, the body of man with the face of a lion, another avatar of Lord Vishnu. Next is the statue of Shiva with Nandi. We felt as if we were walking inside an ancient art gallery. Many of the pillars have beautiful carvings of the life of the common man, as we can see here a couple holding a baby.
তুমি দেখো একজন দিকে তাকিয়ে আছে আরে ক্যামেরাটার মাথা লাগিয়ে দিলে
The lady is holding the baby and she stands with her legs crossed wearing an anklet.
কোথায় বাচ্চা
এই যে
ও হ্যাঁ
কোলে বাচ্চা
হাজবেন্ড ওয়াইফ আর কি
হাজবেন্ড ওয়াইফ বাচ্চা এরকম অনেকগুলো আছে ওইটাও আছে
পাটা দেখেছে পাটা দেখো স্টাইল কি গুলগুল বলেছে
Every carving here reflects the rich thought process of the sculptors. There is not a single pillar or wall without rich carvings. The artists have not left a single panel or wall without designs. Even the ceilings are so beautifully designed. Aihole was a great commercial center during the early days of the Chalukya Empire, and it has nearly 100 temples in the entire Aihole region. Archaeological Survey of India has made effort to preserve the ones which are inside this complex. Aihole was also once the capital of the Chalukya dynasty. On this board we can find some interesting facts about the Chalukya era, which are from the time of King Mangalesha. It says that there are several inscriptions found in this region from the 5th century which are in Kannada and Telugu scripts. The Chalukyan style of architecture first originated at Aihole in the 5th century. They experimented with different styles and blended both the South and North Indian styles in their art and designs, which evolved into a new form of architecture known as the Chalukyan art, which has baffled historians and art lovers for centuries. Aihole is thereby considered to be the cradle of temple architecture, with experimentation in stone art along with various construction techniques. There are innumerable stone artifacts, many of which are damaged yet carefully preserved by the ASI. It was a beautiful surreal experience while gazing at the architectural stone sculptures at Aihole. This is an ancient water reservoir, probably the source of water supply inside the complex.
এখান থেকে দেখেছিস স্টেপস দিয়ে না
গান করার জায়গা। পার্লামেন্টের মতো আমাদের পার্লামেন্টের মতো রাউন্ড।
As I walked inside the complex, mesmerized by the beauty of the ancient art, I again looked at the Durga temple at a distance with its elliptical pillared mandap, and to me it looked somewhat similar to the structure of the Indian Parliament building. We walked around exploring and admiring the beautiful creations. When we decided to visit this part of Karnataka, we had only Pattadakal and Badami in our minds. We had not the slightest idea that Aihole complex is this big and so much of ancient art to look at. Located towards the east of the Durga temple complex is the Mallika Arjun temple complex consisting of 5 Hindu temples. All the temples inside this complex are dedicated to Lord Shiva. The entire Aihole complex was a center for experimentation of art, a laboratory for stone cutting and sculpture making, which led to the development of the famous Chalukya art. Many kings of ancient and medieval India were great patrons in the areas of literature, art, music, dance and sculpture. Had they not been, we would have never known about our rich legacy. The more we explore India, the more it makes us fall in love with it. This much advancement in ancient art and architecture is very rare in the world. Mark Twain rightly said, India is the cradle of the human race, the birthplace of human speech, the mother of history, the grandmother of legend, and the great-grandmother of tradition. It was time for us to return, but during the half-day tour, we tried to cover as much as we could. We crossed a bridge over a water body which is all that is left of the Malaprabha river, on the banks of which the Chalukya Empire originated.
Juma.